Okay, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Combat. I haven't really made a video about this one much. Maybe in the initial or preliminary reveal of the game, I said something about it, but that's been it. Now, this is not something I'm really concerned about. I already kind of in my mind have a picture as how this game is going to play in a combat sense. But one of my audience members said, hey man, would you mind making a video about this? Maybe talk a little bit about how you think the Suicide Squad members are going to play, what some of their moves are going to be. So shout out to you, Kish, for actually putting out this comment. You really want to know a little bit about the melee and stuff like that. But I have a few things that I wanted to share. Maybe they might provide a little bit more light to anyone who might still be wondering how this is all going to go. So first of all, you see that with this game, the way things are designed, your character has a traversal into melee set of options. This is seen where the gameplay, after they're trying to maybe, go rescue Lex or whatever it may be, you see that Harley Quinn is the first one that they actually show. Let me go ahead and show you. When she basically jumps after Waller tells him to go get Lex, whatever it is, Harley gets on the grapple, and as she's grappling, she's able to pretty much get a highlight on an enemy NPC and is able to go in with a melee attack from grappling. This is going to be very common among the Suicide Squad members. In fact, if you play or look through all the different footages, you're going to see that even King Shark has a few others that he's done, maybe like a melee bomb from jumping down a building or jumping from a high place to a horde of enemies on the ground. So expect to see that in your combat. Another thing too is you're going to have the option to be able to traverse into shooting and also be able to carry out some really well-timed and I would say cinematic finishers. You can see here that Captain Boomerang is getting the job done. He's pretty much doing a finisher, and I think all these characters are going to have them. But we didn't necessarily see too much from a character like Deadshot because I think his own gear and the way he plays is more than likely going to be geared, and in a sense, maybe it's going to lean him to be more useful from playing a much more distant game, or he'll just have gadgets that just work differently. So I think these characters are going to have their distinctions when it comes to what kind of melee options they're going to be using and so on and so forth. Now here is the thing. A lot of players are wanting to know or would like to see more melee combat, but I wanted to make this video to say we must temper expectations because it's going to be hard to expect that in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, you're going to have as much melee as you did in the Arkham games. See, the Arkham games are full-on melee games. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a shooter. It has the variation of melee that's, been embedded within it. But if you really want to kind of get a sense for how much melee you're going to be doing in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League compared to how much shooting you'll be doing, the easy way to actually solve that is just to look at the gameplay footage. If you look through the gameplay footage, try and maybe do a count as to how many times you see the characters actually shoot versus how many times you actually see them, do some melee options. So once you're able to calculate or maybe gauge this ratio, you'll be able to get a good sense as to how the game is going to go. Now, keep in mind that the melee as well is going to be very distinctive because these characters have not necessarily been represented in a video game like this. So what you'll see is, because of what we now know, is you're going to have access to talents and other special moves that you might be able to unlock. In fact, if you look at the menu, remember when the menu was first, in a sense, taken away from us, I got a glimpse of something within that menu that I didn't make a video of. And that was the fact that the menu actually had a set of options for talents. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull it up here for you guys so that you can see. If you look at the talents tab, that to me showed that your characters seem to be able to have access to some level of ability systems that they can unlock within the game. I'm trying to find and see if we can actually get I don't think we can get a full image of one of the menus as of now. I think the devs, skillfully basically zoomed into the character so you didn't get to see that Battle Pass tab. But at the end of the day, you do have a talent tab that's actually there. That talent tab to me seems like it's going to have a bunch of options that you can use as fun melee finishers and unlock them and be able to get some variety going that are custom to the different characters. This is my best guess. I mean, these games usually follow a formulaic way in regard to the way they're developed, so it's not going to necessarily be rocket science to kind of say that, yeah, those talent, tabs are going to provide that. And it's good in a sense because it provides a little variation from being a straight up shooter. I have a friend, he and I were talking about this, good friend of mine. I messaged him, the Suicide Squad stuff. They don't really follow a lot of gaming news, a bunch of my friends. They're old, they're old men. Yes, you can tell them I said so. I'm sure you guys are watching this video. So I send them, all these updates and stuff like that. And one of them said if they had just made it a ground-based shooter, it would have been so much fun. But the aerial stuff really carries a lot of the Fortnite vibes to it. Now, with the aerial combat and the so-called Fortnite vibes, oh, there it is. Look at it. You see talents right by the loadouts. You see that there's a talent tab up here. That's what I was looking for. And I sensed they had it, but I couldn't find it. But back to that conversation, he said they made it a ground shooter, but the aerial traversal kind of gives it some Fortnite vibes. I think with the Fortnite vibes, what really would differentiate this game is the way the finishers come together, because you and your team and you and your different, Suicide Squad members, maybe bots, could really do some cool stuff. Imagine if you're shooting with, say, one character and you're about to jump into a finisher, a takedown finisher, and as you're about to do it or after you do it, you switch to another character and you're able to kind of combine, or in a sense, implement a combined set of possibilities that open up the game's gameplay for you. This is where I think there's going to be fun to be had with this particular gameplay. I don't know how it feels. I don't know how it plays. I would love to get my hands on it so that we can kind of gauge and see what that is. So if anybody was expecting, say, that kind of melee, level of combat from the Arkham games, or that amount, that's going to be in this game, I don't think that's the right expectation. However, I do have a recommendation. If there's a game that, I know of where you can actually get some good melee gameplay and shooting, you need to probably you need to try Gotham Knights and try, freaking Red Hood there, because he really does a good job. Like, he shoots and he can punch and all that good stuff. You'll get a really good mix of it. But every time I recommend this game or talk about this game, I get flack for it. But hey, it is the game that is out here. Or maybe you can play, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. You can play with Star-Lord. He's got all of the above. He's got shooting. He's got melee. And, it's kind of, in a sense, limited because, he has specific weapon types that he uses for his shooting. And he has melee abilities. So this is what you're going to be getting with a game like this. But with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, you are not going to be getting that kind of amount. Instead, you're going to get a fast-paced, horde-based. You're going to need the guns. You're going to need the amount of bullets and the ammo and the barrage of enemies that are coming at you are going to be needing to be taken out as fast as possible. This is why I think the game is designed and will have some sort of a different feel overall in regard to how its melee and shooting are combined. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. I'm really excited to kind of see how this game plays overall. That's what I'm just curious anyways. For me, it's a game developer thing. I just want to try to figure out how they did some of the mechanics. People are probably going to be upset about different things or whatever. For me, all these games are just, they're just textbooks, basically. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.